the legate known as Lanius.
Lanius. I would say Lanius, and then I looked it up. It's Lanus. It's like the proper Latin way is Lanus. So why not do it on Lanus? You ready? The book's back.
The book's back?
The book's back. I didn't suck with time management this week. I did play a lot of Last of Us Factions while I should have been taking notes, because that shit still rips. But episode 150's lore is Legate. I've already forgot how to say it in the 6 different ways. Legate.
The Legate.
Lanius. The military commander of Caesar's legion, Caesar's most trusted war leader, and the replacement of Joshua Graham after the Battle of Hoover Dam, the first Battle of Hoover Dam. During the exploration from the east, helping in the destruction and assimilation of various tribes, Lanius' backstory is inconsistent and so most aren't sure of how true the background of him actually is. Caesar touts him as the greatest warrior of the Arizona tribe, the Hydebarks. The Hydebarks. Can't read my own handwriting. The Hydebarks. Hydebarks had such powerful battlefield presence that they could take out Legion patrols single-handedly. Wow. And the Legion is known for just destruction. Just straight... This is yours, now it's mine.
You did this, I did this.
Yeah. This delayed the annexation of the Hydebarks by months. Once the Legion surrounded the tribe's camp, the chief decided to not be murdered and surrendered. So from what I got from when I went through the wiki was Caesar came to you, or the legate came to you, or what have you, and they pretty much said,
join or die.
Join or die. And what's the one thing I always say about the Legion? I kind of want to. I want to print a shirt out if we can get like as close.
They make a fine point, and they're good salespeople.
I want to get if we could design this someday, like a scoreboard in Legion colors, and it's like Caesar and NCR on one side, and the NCR has like a few points, but Caesar has like a ton of points. They put numbers on the board. The Legion puts numbers on the board. They say they're going to do something, and then they do it. They surrounded the camp. The chief said he'd rather surrender than be murdered. And Lanius, before he became Lanius, went berserk and attacked his own tribe, killing 15 of his own men before he could be stopped. This maimed him and tore most of his face off. Caesar had his wounds tended to, and then Caesar offered him a brand new face if he fought in his name, in the name of Caesar and his legion. His new face would be casted in iron.
That's why he has the cool mask.
Kind of. So, we'll get into this a little later, but there is a variant, I might have it on screen, a variant of Lanius without the mask on.
Does he look all like...
No.
He's
got like a dumb, like mutton chops, like...
Is it like a default face that they just never programmed in?
Kind of. Do you remember when I had mutton chops?
Yeah.
That was a time.
You're going through your Victorian age.
It's just mutton chops and like a long... I think the soul patch is called Daddy-O. I guess you can... I never did it because I always just put beard on my character. But you can mix some facial hairs. Yeah. I always put a survivalist beard because I just thought that made the most sense. I don't got time to bathe and shave. You know what I mean? I need bottle caps, gosh damn it. So I want to get into that a little later because there is some discrepancy with if that story is even true. So Lanius took the deal to fight under Caesar as long as he could slaughter the remaining males in his old tribe, the Hydebarks. Caesar agreed and then took the boys for training, which is fun to kind of read and say out loud because I feel like it's going to put me on a list saying the young boys were taken in for training, which is even
and then
funnier. No. The young boys were taken to be indoctrinated into the Legion.
Into the Legion.
But when you say Caesar takes in the young boys, when you know that it's based off of ancient Rome, did you know, fun fact of the day, did you know the ancient Romans believed that male and female relationships were only for procreation? And that you could only love...
The Romans, and pardon my French, the Romans were...
I mean, Vince, you were there.
Yeah, that's how old I was. I saw it. I was a spectator. So you couldn't love a woman the way you could love a man because only a man would understand what a man needed. So just, and everybody knows what they did with kids. It was ancient Rome. Orgies aplenty.
Orgies aplenty, absolutely.
You went to your first orgy when you were like 9 in ancient Rome. So some of the legionaries claim that Lanius was born into slavery for the Legion, and his natural talent allowed him to rise through the ranks at the young age of 11 plus 1. Antony, the Houndsmaster, claims that it took years to conquer the Hydebarks, and that they mercifully joined the Legion. Graham has no memory of Lanius's formative years, which really doesn't make sense because he would have been involved in some capacity. He would remember him even if he was just a soldier. Because it wasn't like Caesar went to him and was like, hey, fight for me. And he's like, okay, I'm the legate now.
No, he had to have been like an underling for some time.
Yeah.
Maybe Joshua Graham was just like, I don't have time to give anyone the time of day unless it's Caesar.
I do not have time to give anyone the time of day unless it is my god.
Fucking love Graham.
Yeah, so he didn't even look at anyone else other than Caesar.
Yeah, he was just like,
the rest is irrelevant. Can you say the rest of the Legionnaires are inconsequential?
The rest of the Legionnaires are inconsequential.
Isn't
that right, Daniel?
He's just a cuck in the corner. Daniel. He's so inconsequential, Daniel. What does he do? Arizona was under the Legion's control by the time of the fall of Graham, and there is no way he wouldn't know of Lanius. Kind of what I just said before.
Right.
So, what happened, dog? Like, why? I wonder if that's just an oversight in writing. Like, they just didn't see it.
I feel like happens from time to time with Fallout.
Yeah, but I kind of don't expect it with New Vegas, honestly, because I feel like that game is so meticulous with its writing. In a good way. I mean, Lanius is a myth and a weapon. He can boast the morale of his troops with his ruthlessness and also destroy the morale of any of his opponents. He knows the weight that his name holds. He serves almost as much as a symbol of the Legion itself. So if I crop the video correctly, I'm 90% sure that my flag here of the bull, hold on, there we go, is on screen. So you could replace the bull with Lanius's face, and it would, you know what I mean, like of the mask, it would be the same.
Just
thing.
like,
well, you know what I mean, not like. So his own slaves have been blinded, so they cannot gaze upon his face without his mask. And I don't know if that's the most gangster shit. Yeah, I don't know if it's the most gangster shit or the most insecure shit I've ever heard of.
It sounds insecure to me.
I mean, they must be really bad slaves, It's like, slaves are supposed to go get your stuff. Are they supposed to get your stuff?
Slave, bring me my dinner. Where? How? And you know they don't have sticks. Those blind people sticks.
Oh my god. Yeah, I would say accessibility is at an all-time low in the post-apocalypse.
So he could have blinded them as kind of a thing to be like, it's an honor, and I'm saying honor with quotations, it's an honor to be the slave of the legate, but this also may be so that they don't start spreading rumors about his face not being torn off. Now, I want to talk about this for a second. There is a face model of Lanius, And I think that's because I was watching something and they were talking about how in an interview Josh Sawyer said a lot of the faces of NCR and Legion are just random generic faces that exist because they just needed to put it on. They needed something underneath the face.
They needed just a little bit of flesh to put the decorations on.
That's it, because a lot of the Legion has the goggles and they have the bandanas. The NCR has the suits that come up that guard the mouth and the nose. You know what I mean? So and they have goggles and helmets and shit on. So a lot of it, to me, I wouldn't be surprised. I want to believe the myth that Lanius has his face destroyed and he's this conqueror. I want to believe that, but also I can see why it's bullshit.
It could just be like bullshit and boasting and folklore.
Yeah, and it's just left up to your imagination. I always forget the exact thing, and I'm surprised I didn't read it on the wiki. But what does Mr. New Vegas say about how he had
New Vegas?
He had 1/10 of his men destroy a platoon. You know what I mean? It's
an underperforming squad of troops. I could hear it in my brain.
Oh, let me Google
the Legate
that.
known as Lanius. It starts off like that.
I'm seeing on Villains Wiki. I'm on Villains Wiki right now. So all my lore I get off of Fallout.fandom.com. Right now I'm on Villains.fandom.com. One of Mr. New Vegas radio broadcasts, it is stated that Legate Lanius practices a version of punishment from the Roman army called decimation, killing every 10th man if they were to lose in a battle. And that's a big thing with him, is he doesn't care how many people they lose as long as they win. So if 100 Legion goes up against 100 of any tribe in Colorado or Arizona, and every one of that tribe dies, and only 99 of the Legion dies, he won. He doesn't care. He put numbers on the board.
It's a numbers game.
Yeah. It's a numbers game, but the numbers don't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before arriving at Hoover Dam, Lanius led the military efforts for the conquest of Colorado.
Hey, I know someone there.
Haha, me too. I found out another kid we went to school with, lives 2 zip codes that away.
Really?
In the same part of Colorado that I live in.
Some people that I went to college with live in Colorado right now.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's super tight. It's a big
in
state.
Denver.
Really? It's very expensive there. So I'm just going to read this part again. Before arriving at Hoover Dam, Lanius led the military efforts in the conquest of Colorado. He would either kill or annex the tribes in. Now, in Denver was a big get for the Legate. And he threw the hounds of the hangdogs into burning pyres. So
I don't like the sound of that. They hurt the dogs.
Yeah. So the hound dogs, Antony is one of the hound dogs. And what I like about Caesar, not that I like it, but the idea of it, that it's what ancient Rome did. We don't just kill you. We kill your history. We kill your family. We kill your name. Antony is from Denver. He's the houndsmaster that has Lupa. And he has that little bit of himself still inside of his Legion ideals. He carries that little bit of Dogtown, that little bit of Denver in him. There's also Aurelius of Phoenix, which I think is super interesting, because how come he got to keep the name Phoenix?
Right.
He's from Phoenix. If Caesar wants you to have nothing to do with your past, why does Aurelius have that? Why does Aurelius have that little bit of Arizona attached to him? Either way.
Maybe whatever he did to get his title is cool enough that he got to keep it, you know?
Maybe. I want to know more. I should read it. I will read it eventually. But all of this made him wary of overly ambitious plans. The entire annexation of Colorado, almost destroys the Legion. It almost broke the Legion. They lacked food, water, and replacement men. His last conquest before the dam was someplace in Utah. Now, it doesn't say if it was New Canaan. It doesn't say if it was Ogden, because I don't think that was directly him. If I remember correctly, that's the Whitelegs that really do that in, and that's because of the death of Graham, or the death of Graham as like the death of an artist. Not that he's dead; he became the burned man.
Yeah,
and that had more to do with Ulysses.
His legacy completely changed at that point.
Yes, but the last battle of Utah, it's not stated, at least on the wiki, it was not stated where that was. I believe the exact words was the wilds of Utah, which is fun to think about. Yeah.
How wild is Utah?
It's wild Utah is when a bunch of Mormons are like, you know what? I'm not gonna knock on that door. What? Yeah.
That's wild.
So he assimilated 14 tribes and exterminated 5.
That's like a wild thing to do.
And he did that in so 2077 is after the first battle is lost, right? 78, 79, 80, 81. In 4 years. Because New Vegas takes place 4 years after the first battle of Hoover Dam, after the events of Fallout 3 as well. He destroys 19 fucking clans of people. Imagine walking into a village and being like, gone, 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 gone in 4 years.
Yeah, it's like,
they don't use guns.
F you, you're not even alive anymore.
They don't use guns, homie.
They just do stabby with the pitchforks and the spikes and the spears.
Only centurions get guns, I think. And even then, it's like only under... And Fumentari, I think, only get guns. And that's like... like...
And you gotta be good. You gotta be good with it.
So... After his victory in various battles, he was granted the name Lanius or Lanius or Lanus, which means butcher in Latin. I think I actually have that written down twice in my notes. Caesar claims that he cares not for the Legion and only the loyalty to Caesar. This was seen as an asset. He cares not for losses or even legionary life. It's victory at all costs. And we kind of went over that a little bit before. He has
and that's kind of where Graham was too. Like, he wasn't really... He was more there for Caesar.
I think, and we've talked about Graham before, but I think Graham kind of got swept up in an ideology.
Like, in the fanfare of it all.
I don't necessarily think Graham believed in what he was doing towards the end. I'm probably wrong when I say that, but from what I was reading, he sees that what happened, and he agreed with what he was doing originally, I think, because I think he thought that he was bringing culture and education to other tribes, because he was not a follower. Graham
was a teacher.
He was a teacher. He would interpret. I think Ulysses gets the brunt of it, really, because Ulysses talks about how the Whitelegs twist, which is one of the best holotapes in the series as far as I'm concerned, how the Whitelegs twist their hairs to make them look like Ulysses, because they started to fall in love with Ulysses and not with Caesar, and how they did this as a point of pride, but Ulysses looked and said, That's my clan. Those are my people that you don't even realize that you've appropriated that look. You don't know what those braids mean. I think Graham
it was all a symbol that was like kind of coming from the wrong point.
Yeah, and I was actually having this conversation, I think with Lamp, funnily enough, on Twitter. I did a poll of who was the better bad guy, Ulysses or Graham, and Ulysses and Graham have the same problem, and it's their past. And it's the road that they chose to walk, where Graham goes, the road I choose to walk is behind me, but I must continue forward. Where Graham does that. Graham wants to move forward. Where I feel like Ulysses stops every mile to look back and go, look what I've done. Look how far I've gone. And that eats at him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree with you there.
And I think that's a really interesting concept because, again, I don't agree with half of the shit that happens in Lonesome Road. But I think Ulysses' character is super interesting, and to see that he has such an impact, and he's only Fumentari. Not to say that it's not like a high
he wasn't even
thing.
he wasn't even the legate.
He wasn't a legate. He wasn't. I think Fumentari technically go higher than Centurion.
Yeah,
technically,
yeah, they do.
Only because
They're like special ops, basically.
Let me check. Regardless of that, I just want to say real quick, I'm pretty sure it's Praetorian. Those are the ones that are like Caesar's right-hand men. My favorite thing about them is that when Caesar sees a centurion that could be the next Praetorian, he grabs the guy and goes, pick my weakest Praetorian and beat him to death in front of me, and if you win, you can have his spot.
I like that too.
The Legion
really,
puts
really
numbers
cool.
on the board.
They do it all day, actually.
Yeah. Okay, let's just get through the last bit of this. He has this uncanny ability to sense any form of weakness within his army. He is not known for subtle attacks. He likes frontal attacks, wave attacks. He wanted to overtake the NCR with just brute force. Even allies see his ferociousness. He doesn't care about casualties of his own as long as the enemy is more impacted. He's not Caesar's only legate, and when I read this, it didn't make sense because there aren't any other legates. But I think it meant it's not his first legate.
Right, yeah.
Because of Graham and whatnot, and someone before him probably, in some capacity. He is the heir to Caesar's position, and that would give him full control. There is cut content from the game that if you let him win and Caesar dies, that he sits where House's computer once was with dogs there and one of his slaves, and you could go up to the slave and kill the slave in front of him, and he's like, good kill.
That's crazy. That's wild.
Yeah,
I guess that slave didn't see it coming.
I guess not.
Proud of that one, Papa?
Yeah.
Lanius saw war as the ultimate trial, the weak to be disregarded and the strong allowed to rise to greatness. He sees no use in diplomacy like Vulpes and Culta, which I fucking love Vulpes. The diplomacy methods that Vulpes and Culta uses. He believes that the omertas being used will ruin the honest victory of the Legion. So a lot of people don't know this because no matter what you do with the omertas, there is no end card, and I feel like a lot of people just pass this quest anyway because it's not super great. The one with Troik, and they kill the hooker, and there's that other guy who has like a snuff tape.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There is no end screen that says the omertas help or don't help at the end, but the omertas strike a deal with Caesar saying that they'll pretty much, because they're still tribes. They're still tribes at the end of the day. They're tribes in suits. Listen to Hood Politics. I meant to tell you this before. Listen to Hood Politics. It's a great podcast. The host of it, his name's Prof. He's like, if you understand gangbanging, you'll understand economics, because politics is just gangbanging in nice suits. And that's what the casinos are. They're gangs in suits.
That is really what they are, yeah.
Yeah, and like the dude's breaking shit down. He's like, this is how you understand politics. This is gang culture. This is politics. But the omertas having the chance to assimilate and to become sophisticates, they kind of piss it away and say, fuck it, let's just go back to being tribesmen. Let's go back to just
and money and whores again.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they were. They're degeneracy. They're the degenerate casino.
That's
even
what
like
Gamora was. They really didn't stop. They just put it in flashing lights.
Lanius does see the NCR as some passable foes. He sees that there is some dedication and some ability there. He sees the Rangers as excellent in range combat, but he doesn't like General Lee Oliver. He says he's less capable due to all of the politics that he deals in, but he does see Chief Hanlon as cunning. Lanius knew that Hanlon was smart enough to know that the new legate would not make the same mistakes. So Lanius can see that there is... He's smart enough to understand, even though he's just full frontal attack, he's smart enough to know, okay, this is... Hanlon is their version of me. And that's a big thing that
To be able to recognize strength in an adversary, yeah.
Yeah, because Oliver wasn't supposed to be the general. It was supposed to be Hanlon. There's a whole thing in Hanlon's quest line, I forgot to remember to forget, I'm pretty sure is the quest, that says that, like, he was a war hero, him and Oliver fought together, and it should have been him. And I think it's because Hanlon's older. That they didn't give it to him. That's what it kind of sounds like it comes down to. There's probably a couple of other reasons, like politics being involved. But Lanius had politics. But Lanius, this is how smart Lanius is as a war chief. He came up with the idea to use the tunnels, the drainage tunnels in the dam to attack the NCR. And he understands that if he wants to do this, it's going to take time. And I mean time in the sense of they got to do it quick. Because if there's any blockage, if it's a full frontal attack from the inside, almost like a reverse Trojan horse in a way. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Kind of. Maybe I'm pulling at straws, but like... he knew that if they don't do this quick, it could mean death. They had to do it quickly. And... yeah. It fucking happens. The rest of the wiki that I was getting my notes from kind of goes into how the quests kind of play out. And I'm not interested in talking about the quests themselves. I like talking about the character themselves. So here's some fun facts for you. His height. Now every character in the game, your character in the game, is set at 1. That is their height, is 1. Right? Lanius' height is set at 1.15, making him 6'11", the tallest human NPC in New Vegas.
I believe that.
I think Sharon...
He's just like... They just took like the corner in Photoshop and just dragged him up a little bit.
Yeah. I think Sharon in 3 is like 1.5 or 1.10.
Yeah, it makes the noodle arms in 3 fucked up.
Yeah. He performs human sacrifices for Mars, the Roman god of war. And there's something that I like a lot of people don't... I feel like a lot of people don't realize that Caesar really made his entire ideology kind of based on him being a cult leader. Mm-hmm. Like there is the Church of Mars. That. Yeah, like a lot of people don't talk about that, but Lanius is either, pardon the pun here, if this is even a pun, but he's taken the Kool-Aid. He's drank the Kool-Aid on this one. And he's kind of into the idea of maybe Mars being the god of war and that Caesar is the physical...
See, last time I checked, it was Kratos, but...
Kyle, how good is... You want to plug real quick, Kyle? How good is God of War?
It's really good.
Yeah? How good is it?
Yeah, it's good.
Is it good enough to make a video about it where we talk about it for an hour? Kyle, why don't you plug away?
What? Our
plug away.
Kyle and Vince likes things for God of War?
Tell me about it. Yeah.
Where we talk about how we love God of War.
What else we talk about that we love, Kyle?
Other games?
Sure. The Sonic movies there too. Kyle and I have our own show called Kyle and Vince Likes. Check it out. Mm-hmm. But fucking God of War is great. Too bad we gotta wait till next year for the sequel.
Although it does look like it's going to be cool.
Oh, yeah. He's the only person in the Legion to refer to Graham by his real name and not the Burn Man. And Chris Avallone wrote him. That's pretty much all the notes I have. Does anybody have anything they'd like to say about Lanius?
I don't care for him as a character, honestly.
Really?
I mean, in all my playthroughs, I've never sided with the Legion all the way. So I guess I'd never really got to know him as a character. But
you never went all the way?
I never went all the way with the Legion. I always quit after the first date. The first crucifixion. But from someone who's only ever played Free Vegas, The House Always Wins, and NCR, I just don't... He seems like kind of bland.
Papa?
I only remember him showing up at the end, and that's the only time I remember this character.
If you do that's what I like about him, though, is that you just hear about him. If you take the Legion quest line, there is a point where you get to see him before the battle. at his camp. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. The last time I remember doing that. But you do get to see him and he talks to you and you get to ask him some questions and stuff. I love these types of characters. I love these big, brooding, Frank Horrigan-esque characters. I like Graham a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I like these characters that have a mythos around them.
Mm. You like folk heroes.
Yeah. I like a dude that I can cheer for, be it good or bad.
Speaking of folk heroes, if that's lore.
Yes, that's lore. That's lore. That's lore. If anybody else has anything to say, go ahead and say it now. Cool, that's lore.